I am so excited today to be interviewing Christine Handy. She is actually the ambassador for Learn Look Locate, and she's a dear friend of mine. I have known her since I started Learn Look Locate, and we've been working together because our missions are very much aligned. And we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about why she's part of Learn Look Locate and her incredible journey and what she's doing to raise her voice, not only with the breast cancer community, but with the media, with the world, with the fashion world, with women, with hope, with inspiration, and everything that comes with being hit with a breast cancer diagnosis. Christine, I'd love to have you introduce yourself and tell us, why you're part of Learn Look Locate and why you're an ambassador.
Well, my name is Christine Handy, and I am a model. I've been a model for 40 years. I'm also a brand ambassador for Learn, Look, Locate. I am an author. I am a motivational speaker. I'm, now I don't know how to say it, but I'm in the film industry, I suppose. I'm a producer of a film, which is about my life called Hello, Beautiful, which is portraying my book, Walk Beside Me. And I'm on the board of 3 nonprofits. So I do a lot of various things throughout the day, but all of them are service inspired. It's about serving other people. It's about giving people hope. So every tenet that I am in is only to serve and to give people hope. I call myself a hope facilitator because that's what I do every day. I get to wake up every day and give people hope, whether it's being a social media influencer, whether it's writing, whether it's talking about my story, whether it's in media, being interviewed, whether it's now the film, being an ambassador for Learn Locate. Everywhere I touch, it's about serving and giving hope. It's the greatest gift, and it's the greatest job and the greatest privilege in the world.
And do you feel, Christine, that your breast cancer diagnosis changed you to be this new person all about hope? Were you like this before?
Well, it's funny. People have asked me, where did this grit and this determination come from? And I can tell you that I grew up in a pretty privileged family. But in high school, I had 3 jobs. I was modeling, I was working at a florist, and I was making barrettes to sell at another boutique. So take that girl, a 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old, into a 41-year-old woman who was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I kind of lost my way in those other years, where I became kind of directed and influenced in a different path. I was very materialistic. I was very caught up in worldly things. I was very self-serving versus very selfless. And so once I was diagnosed with cancer, I went back to who I really was, which was a girl that was a hardworking girl that had a lot of grit and determination, had a lot of grit and grace. And so I kind of found myself, I guess I would say. I got lost for a while and I found myself again. Of course, I've been in front of a camera for so many years that I feel like I'm so comfortable speaking in front of people, talking about, the things I did wrong and now the things that I'm doing right, because that's what people want to see and hear. They want the vulnerability. They want the honesty. They don't want you to say, oh, I had this amazing breast cancer journey because I got through it and my friends helped me and my family showed up. That's not true. It's not authentic. So I just put it all out there. And so I think that's why people are attracted to my story, because I'm very vulnerable and very honest about the things that I did wrong. And my cancer journey was not easy. And so I talk about that a lot too.
So, as part of Learn Look Locate, you have inspired a lot of women. You are a 10-year survivor. I'm only 5 years. I mean, you are really a beacon of light. Can you share with me, when you see some of especially the young women being diagnosed, how this warms your heart to be that beacon of light, that there are survivors, and your philosophy on survivorship in general?
It's funny. Somebody asked me recently why I talk about thriving so much. Why don't I just talk about surviving? And this person was easily offended that I said, well, I'm thriving. I don't really see it as surviving. Everybody's perception is their reality. Everybody's opinion is their right to have, right? If I want to define my years after my diagnosis as thriving, because of what I'm doing, that's my right. And if that offends somebody because I'm not talking about surviving, that's really their issue. They're different to me. Thriving is taking something that terrible happened to you and using it as a force to help other people. That's really thriving. I'm not waking up every day paralyzed by my fear or my pain that I've gone through, that I continue to go through. I mean, I still have pain in my chest from having 4 mastectomies. I have had other illnesses that kept me in constant pain, but that's not stopping me from doing anything. I play tennis, I'm active, I travel all the time. I'm out there using my voice to help other people. I'm not afraid of talking about anything. And so I think that surviving and thriving are really important to see, especially for the younger women, because they see, wouldn't they rather see somebody thriving than somebody saying, you know what, I can't get out of bed today. It's been a really tough 6 months. I can't get out of bed. It exists. And that's part of the process, right? But then you have to see other people who are moving forward, because it all matters. All of it exists and all matters, because we have to give hope for the next stage, for the next season. I was that person that was afraid to get out of bed. I was asking people after my diagnosis, I said, when does the fear go away? I asked a woman who was in her 60s. I was 41 when I was diagnosed. I said to her, when does the fear go away? And she was 12 years out. And what she said to me was, I'll let you know. Can you imagine 12 years out? I was horrified. I said to myself, I'm not going to be that person. I don't want to be this afraid 12 years out. And so every single day after she told me that, I was like, okay, Christine, hope, faith, do not worry. We're going to keep moving on. I had to just coach myself to get out of that fear cycle. Because it is. I mean, you can be in a fear cycle or you can be in a faith cycle. They're totally different. I could have gone down that road of being, well, I'll let you know 10 years out when I stop being afraid. I don't want to be that person.
So as my ambassador for Learn, Look, Locate, you represent so much resilience and strength, confidence and courage. These are the words that come to mind. So anyone that's listening here on your beautiful page that we have dedicated to you, because your mission is so, I'm going to get choked up. It's just so beautiful. It's so amazing that you didn't let go of this diagnosis. You not only didn't let go, but you embrace it with love and kindness to give back to other women so they feel that they can get to the other side. Is that right?
Yeah. So thank you for saying that my courage is infectious. I appreciate that. That's a goal of mine. So oftentimes we wake up and we don't have the courage that we would like to have inside of us. And
Right.
so often we look to women who are modeling it for us so we can borrow their courage. And some days I have enough courage to give it out, right? And some days I have zero courage and I have to borrow it from other people. So to be, to have courage is certainly a privilege, but it doesn't happen every single moment of every day. And just knowing that is giving yourself grace, just the knowledge that you don't have to wake up every day not fearful and not worrying and not with zero courage. I mean, at least we know that nobody does. I've said to men before, I've said, okay, do you wake up every day with courage? And they've had to be honest with themselves and say, you know what? No. And it's just the knowing sometimes gives us that grace. And so for me to model courage and also to model not having courage in moments. I think younger women, I think that younger, women who are diagnosed and the younger women who are trying to get through this diagnosis and this journey might be able to give themselves a little bit more grace seeing that. I want to model grace. I want to model courage. I want to model faith. I want to model thriving. Those are all things that I want to model. I am physically a model. That's my job. But I'm also, through my modeling, I'm trying to model these other things.
And you haven't given up, because I know you and I share some personal thoughts about how hard this is at times. Sometimes you just want to, kind of be just a normal person, but the disease has affected us in ways that we want to keep going because we know how important it is. Isn't that right?
Well, that's a great idea, and that's a great perception. The disease to me has propelled me to be who I believe I was meant to be, which is a
Thank
champion for other women. Because I had women show up for me. Had I not had women show up for me, I'm not sure I would be sitting here having this conversation. That's how critical it is to champion for people. And that's how critical it is to champion for people in this community. I can
Yes,
understand divisiveness in general.
right.
I'm even more specifically, I can't understand divisiveness in illness or trying to give people hope. There's no competition in that.
Yeah,
There's so much need
yeah,
for encouragement. There's so much need for hope out there that even if we all are doing it, it's still not enough. So
right.
why would we divide? Why
Yeah,
would we feel like there's competition? There's plenty. That mentality of plenty has to be a part of your life, because if
yeah,
it's not, then man, it's a sure roller coaster that's just going to get you whacked around all the time,
yeah,
because you're going to think to yourself, wow, I have to compete against people that I'm rooting for. I have to compete against communities that I am a part of. I don't want to have anything to do with that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it's really important to show that. I think it's really important to talk about that, because I think a lot of times people think of the breast cancer community as everybody's cheering each other on. I have not seen that in my life. And that makes me sad, but I try to ignore the naysayers and I try to just keep doing my mission, because that's their issue. It's not mine.
Thank you so much, Christine. This is amazing. I really appreciate you being such a big part of Learn, Look, Locate and the inspiration that you share with so many women who need it.
Well, I just want to say one more thing about Learn, Look, Locate. I have found in my life, especially when I was going through my diagnosis and subsequently the years after, the information is scattered. The information is splintered. But Learn,
Mm,
Look, Locate is a safe place to go to find out truth and knowledge about the disease and the after effects of the disease.
mhm.
And so that's where I want to go.
Thank you. I think it's also celebrating all the survivors all over
Yes.
the world. We just realized we had over 540 survivors on the
Wow.
Inspire page from
Well,
Japan.
I think of the survivors as kind of like the icing on the cake. Like
Yeah,
those are the beautiful candles and we're all celebrating that and that's wonderful. But you are working so hard. Learn, Look, Locate is showing information that is so important and so necessary. And all the survivors is just the icing on the cake. What a
yeah.
beautiful message you are showing into this world.
Thank you. I think intertwining the education with the faces and our stories, and
Yeah.
as we celebrate your story here on this very special page, because what you've done, not only just from a woman who's gone through all this, but for Learn, Look, Locate. For those of you watching, Christine has been a part of this from very early on. When I first started this, just sort of hobbling along on social media, she was right there by my side and continues to cheer me on. And it's really important, as she said earlier, that anyone that's newly diagnosed, there are a lot of places to go to get support. We wrap our arms around you, from our hearts, from anywhere you are in your journey and
Yeah.
anywhere you are in the world. And Christine is a trailblazer in more outside in the world, really showing the world what it's like to be flat and gorgeous and helping us to break down those barriers. And we're working very hard together to kind of combine our two forces. So it's really kind of a wonderful match. And so we're honored to have this dedicated page